Have you ever really thought about what's eating into a restaurant's profits? I mean, it's not just the cost of food. There's this hidden cost, this quiet tax, that's silently bleeding even the best restaurants completely dry. Today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, and then look at a pretty fascinating playbook designed to fight it.
So, it all starts here, with food waste. Every single piece of spoiled produce, every dish that was prepped but never ordered, all of it gets thrown out. And that's not just garbage, that is literal cash going straight into the trash can. It's a direct, painful hit to the bottom line.
And then, you've got the thing nobody really wants to talk about: internal theft. You know, a free drink for a friend here, a meal that never gets rung up there. It feels small, but it adds up, contributing to this slow, silent drain on revenue that, honestly, a lot of owners just accept as part of doing business. But you know, maybe the most relentless cost of all is just this: an empty table. Think about it. The rent, the lights, the insurance, those bills don't take a night off, even when the customers do. So an empty seat isn't just neutral, it's a seat that is actively losing you money. And this right here, this is probably the most brutal number of them all. Restaurants spend thousands of dollars on marketing to get new customers in the door, but the data shows that a staggering 70% of those first-time diners, they never come back. So you've got this massive leak happening on two fronts. You're losing money from the inside, and you can't even hold on to the new customers you paid so much to attract. Okay, so all these leaks we've just been talking about, the waste, the theft, the empty tables, they all get bundled together under one industry term. It's called the quiet tax, or, a little more formally, shrinkage. And listen, this is not some small rounding error we're talking about. Shrinkage can eat up a crazy 7 to 10% of a restaurant's monthly revenue. For a lot of these businesses, that number is their entire profit margin. Just poof, gone, vanishing into thin air. And it's often just accepted as an unavoidable cost of doing business. So before we can even talk about how to plug this massive leak, we first need to break down just how fragile a restaurant's finances really are to begin with. Now, what's really wild about this slide is just how little is left over at the end of the day. A third of the money goes to food, another third goes to labor. Then, after you pay for overhead, you're left with a net profit of just 2 to 6%. I mean, think about that. When your profit margin is that thin, that 7 to 10% shrinkage isn't just a cost, it's an existential threat. And those fixed costs make everything even tougher. Your revenue might go up one month and down the next, but the rent check and the utility bills, they're always the same. This is what makes those slow periods, those nights with all the empty tables, so incredibly damaging to a restaurant's financial health. So how in the world do you fight an enemy that's so pervasive? Well, one company, Kenneth Quick Solutions, has a really fascinating answer. They say don't just cut your costs, create a whole new revenue stream that's specifically engineered to absorb the loss. And they do it by applying something they call the math of certainty from the mobile gaming world.
And this slide just illustrates their whole argument perfectly. See, traditional marketing is a total gamble, but mobile strategy games? They are mathematical machines. The data shows they convert 10 to 19% of their active users into paying customers. So the pitch is simple. What if you could apply that same predictable high-conversion math directly to your restaurant's most loyal customers?
But why does gamification work so well? Well, it all comes down to intrinsic motivation. It's basically tapping into fundamental behavioral science. You know, that powerful little dopamine hit we get when we complete a challenge or achieve a goal that we chose for ourselves. It makes the whole experience feel personal and rewarding, not like some transaction.
And the psychological engine that drives all this engagement can really be broken down into these 3 Fs. You get instant feedback on your actions, you get a sense of community and competition with your friends, and the whole experience is just genuinely fun. This framework creates this compelling loop that makes these games incredibly habit-forming.
Okay, but having a really innovative solution is only half the battle, right? The way it's communicated, the way it's actually pitched, is a total masterclass in persuasion, and that's what we're going to break down next.
A great pitch almost always starts by building trust, and there are very few statements more powerful than this one. It's a technique that's designed to immediately disarm your skepticism by bringing up a deep personal relationship. It just makes you lean in and really listen. What this technique is doing is tapping into a powerful psychological trigger that Dr. Robert Cialdini calls the unity principle. And the idea is really simple. When we believe that someone shares our identity, that they're one of us, our trust in them just skyrockets and all our defenses come crashing down. And this right here is how that principle is put into practice.
The pitch doesn't say, "We will reduce your costs." It says, "We reject your losses." You see the difference? This language frames the company not as some outside vendor, but as an ally. It creates a we, a shared identity, united against a common enemy, shrinkage.
Okay, next, the pitch has to neutralize the fear that this is all going to be too difficult by framing the solution as having zero complexity and a dangerous simplicity. It's designed to just bypass all that natural skepticism and those questions about implementation. It makes the solution feel not just easy, but inevitable.
And this aggressive timeline just reinforces that promise of simplicity. A discovery call, then a game design in just 48 hours, and a full launch within a month. It communicates speed, efficiency, and a complete lack of any hassle, which makes it incredibly easy to just say yes. So when you put all of these pieces together, the deep understanding of the problem, the innovative solution, and all the psychology of persuasion, you get something much bigger than just a sales pitch. You get a replicable playbook for modern marketing. You can actually break this playbook down into 4 key steps. First, it starts by identifying and naming a hidden pain point, giving a name like the quiet tax to a problem that everyone feels but maybe can't articulate. Then it anchors the solution not in guesswork, but in the hard, inarguable math of a completely different and wildly successful industry. The solution itself isn't just functional, it's engineered around proven psychological triggers that drive engagement. And finally, the entire process is framed with what they call dangerous simplicity to remove any friction or hesitation from the decision. This is a really powerful combination of smart problem solving and psychological influence. And it's a playbook that goes way beyond just the restaurant industry. So I guess the real question is, now that you know how to spot the framework, where are you going to see it being used next?